Set alone atop a hill in the Pleasant Hill Cemetery stood a tree, one that had existed long before the town itself. In the time of witches and warlocks, this tree served as a means of torture and despair, but also one of crude justice. Ones believed to be guilty of witchcraft were hanged and tortured until they confessed to evils they may or may not have conjured. Among those tortured were the parents of two boys, one of which bore the mark of the serpent and the other bore the mark of the halo. Our story begins here. After witnessing the torture and execution of his parents, the child of the serpent, known as CoBRA of the Dark, knew what he must do. To protect his infant brother, he cast him down the river on a small raft, hoping he be found by a family composed of caring and nobility. Now that this was done, he set upon a course of revenge. In this, he would destroy all that their proud hearts had accomplished, and succeed in murdering all those that betrayed his parents. He would also place a curse upon the land, so that anything married to it would never prosper. He soon fled back into the forests of Pleasant Hills, where he would grow older, alone, in the cabin built by his parents. Hermitized and driven mad by loneliness, he sought to hinder the progress of development on the land of his parents' fate. He crept into town one night, the darkest of all so far, and murdered the 8 heads of government to quench his bloodlust. Believed to be insane, and since none of this generation of settlers knew of him or his birthright, he was spared only to be locked away in an asylum to the east. Later he would be executed upon the tree in the cemetery for killing asylum orderlies in a savage rage. Buried beneath the tree upon which he and his parents were undone, he did not die. Buried alive, albeit faintly, he lie in wait, for one day his brother would come for him. And he did. The day his brother cast him down the river, the child of light, the child of the halo, was sent with only one item, a journal of sorts. This was his only memory of the past. The journal contained a message written by his older and long-dead brother. In the message were very detailed instructions. They would lead him to this town of Pleasant Hills. The parents who rescued him from the river tried to keep this from him, but his birthright would come to be known. Dreams plagued his mind at night, mostly of abuse by his adoptive parents, who in fact were noble. He, being not their true son, was made to be their jester and dubbed Joker of the Light. One dream in particular disturbed him. It was a face he had never seen, a voice he had never heard. It was that of his brother, CoBRA of the Dark. In the dream, CoBRA would call to Joker asking for his help.
It is time. Resurrect me. Fulfill your destiny.
With this, he left the abusive home of his adoptive parents in search of his true birthright, a meaning to his existence. He read the journal and followed its directions implicitly. It led him to the gates of a small town set in a grotto, surrounded by a crisp, clean-flowing river. Pleasant Hills. He approached the cemetery as instructed by the journal, where he came to a massive blood-stained sacrificial tree with an unmarked headstone. This makes no sense, he said as he read an ancient Sumerian text, also as instructed by the journal. Thinking his words held no power, he turned to walk away. The sky grew dark. The land began to change, growing dead before his eyes. Suddenly, it began to rain. Only it wasn't water that fell from the sky, but blood. It rained so hard, a body was washed to the surface of the unmarked grave beneath the bough of this great tree. This was his brother. He continued to read from the journal as a bolt of lightning struck the corpse, bringing it back to life. It slowly opened its eyes and said nothing but,
Brother, what kept you?
Amazed by this, he turned to see the river surrounding the cemetery was also changed by the dark blood rain. Flowing as red as the cold blood in his newly revitalized body, the corpse stood and exclaimed,
It has begun. Now there will be balance to the evil in this land. We will be both judge and jury.
All the existing townsfolk were slain by the two. Their blood washed into the river, giving it purpose. This will be the final resting place for all evil in the world. All secrets, all the lies will be washed down the bloody river into the cemetery, where it will be absorbed by the roots of this evil tree. This resting place would come to be known as Dark Hills, with the falsely peaceful image of Pleasant Hills being shattered like the glass of a mirror.
The accused will be given a choice, unlike our kin, of their fate, represented by two mere fragile candles, one black, burning the flame of red, signifying the darkness of one's soul. This will be the candle of Hades. The other, white, burning the flame of blue, signifying the purity of one's soul. This will be the candle of the heavens. The winds of destiny will use our judgment to free their souls of this earth by extinguishing the flames, either by sending them to the pits below or to the mighty kingdom above. Will the winds blow in your favor? Only you can change your fate. Take hold!
Now, for over a year, the Dark Hills gang has suffered and inflicted hatred. The only people they can trust are themselves. But what part of themselves? The two members of the Dark Hills gang suffered a sickness. One of not knowing who they really are. A sickness that will be brought to the forefront.